The ego has many tricks in its little bag of its, I guess. What is the pronoun you should use for ego? I guess it's it. And one of them is to make you believe that you should do this or that out of self-respect. Now, what do I mean by that? Because self-respect, you should, of course, have respect for yourself. But the ego, as the little ill-intentioned fiend that it can be, sometimes will make you do things and make you believe that you do them out of self-respect, when in actuality, you shoot yourself in the foot and you do not even realize it. And if you do, oftentimes, you realize it a little too late, or in hindsight, if you will. For instance, I'm going to talk about relationships here, be they friendships, romantic, platonic, whatever they are, but I'm going to use that as an example. I've had a friend, someone I considered a friend in my life, who every single time someone approached them, they would automatically assume the worst. So I think I mentioned that person. Oh no, it was a different person, but anyways. They would automatically assume the worst scenario possible. Therefore, they cut themselves from even beginning to interact with that person. Because their excuse was they had been hurt so much in the past that they didn't want to chance any kind of new relationship ever. Which was slightly interesting / contradictory to me, because everything he told me about was how lonely he was. And I said he, okay, he was a he. How lonely he was. And oftentimes, when he would stop people from getting to know him, he would say, I've been hurt too much, and now I have self-respect. I would not let anyone hurt me. So while that is a perfectly understandable stance, it is also entirely led by his ego. The reason that he doesn't want to be hurt again is his ego that is very happy with him posing as a victim of his past circumstances, if you will, and doesn't want him to see any different. Because ego loves it when you play the victim. It will always give you more reasons to be completely and absolutely sure that you are a victim. Another thing too is, I've been hurt in the past and I don't want to be hurt again. Well, you have to understand that there too, there is ego. Some people might say, well, and that self-preservation? True. But self-preservation should make you happy. The person I'm talking about, as I said, just cannot shut up about how lonely he is, how he wished he were in a relationship, you know? So if you do things out of self-preservation, then the result should be a feeling of safety, a feeling of satisfaction, and a feeling of joy, happiness that you did the right thing. But the best way to see if you did something out of unconditional love, aka out of what the higher source is pushing you to do for your greatest benefit always, or if it is done out of ego that never has your best interest at heart. So whatever the situation you find yourself in, try and see and be honest with yourself. Are you genuinely happy doing the things that you do? If you are, then you are in alignment with who you are. You are in alignment with the higher self. You are in alignment with unconditional love. And I'm very happy for you. But if somehow the situation is weighing on your shoulder, somehow the situation you chose to be in, because it is always a choice, is not working for you, like my friend and his admitted loneliness that weighs heavy on his shoulder, then you can bet your bottom dollar that at the origin, at the source of that bad feeling or bad situation you are in, there was a choice that you made, most of the time consciously. You made a choice that led you there. And if the result of said choice doesn't yield good fruit, then it means that that choice was influenced by your ego that, I repeat it, never has your best interest at heart. Every single time you do something that brings satisfaction, relief, happiness, joy, contentment, whatever the case may be, it is because somehow, consciously or unconsciously, you followed who you really are. You followed your alignment. You took the hint that the higher self sent you for your own good. Now, don't get me wrong, the situations that could be qualified as bad for you or not satisfactory are also lessons. All it takes is a change in perspective, just like with everything in life. A change in perspective and to take an action, a first step. So, if you find yourself in a bad situation, then go within, trying to find the source of the situation. Some people will say, well, it's because of them. It's because of the conjuncture. It's because of what is happening in the world. That is the ego. Dig deeper. Why are you feeling dissatisfied, unhappy, hurt, angry, whatever the case may be? If you dig deeper and you really get to the bottom of it, you'll realize that it was a choice that you made. Well, the world is going down the drain. How could I be happy when, there's war and people are starving, whatever? Because you chose to let that get you. To know what is happening in the world is one thing. To let it get to you is another thing. If you want to know what is happening in the world, more power to you. Go ahead and do it. I'm not huge on watching the news, to be honest, but go ahead and do it. But if you do it, don't let it get to you. Because if it gets to you, you made an unconscious choice to let it get to you. Another example. Well, you don't understand, I don't have money. Well, look deeper. Look deeper. Look deeper. Maybe your money management wasn't up to par. Well, you don't understand, I have a very small salary. Well, then if you have a very small salary, why did you spend more than you made? Well, you don't understand. I have, kids to take care and stuff, take care for, and and stuff. Okay, fine. But when you made the choice, you already knew that, having a family would mean that you would have to make a little more money, right? Well, you don't understand. My company went bankrupt and I was fired. Okay, you were fired. What did you do when you were fired? Did you save enough money in case something like that happened? No, you don't understand. My company was doing very fine. I didn't have to save money. I never thought it would go bankrupt. It can go on and on and on and on like this forever. And like some people will say that to say what I just said, especially about, when you lose your job and you have a family, and actually even that goes back to a choice you made. People will say you're heartless. I'm not heartless. I'm just stating a fact. Now, the fact that I said offends you is on you. It's not on me. You choose, again, it's a choice, to be offended by it. Because you refuse to see what it really means. And usually what it really means is a complete change of how you see things, how you see yourself, how you see the world. Because you are so deeply ingrained into what your ego told you to believe, you are such a slave to your ego, that you do not question it. You do not question your master, aka the ego. You are very happy being a slave to the ego, most of the time unconsciously. But it's always a choice. Life is always a choice. The choice to take the first step on your spiritual journey and discover who you really are. And once that happens, you realize that the world opens its doors to you and there is complete freedom and complete, so many possibilities and everything. All the limits just fall away by, the wayside. Is that a word? Is that an expression? I don't know, but you get me. It is always a choice. Whatever situation you are in, stop feeling offended by it or by what people say about it or whatever. Go dig deep, go within, and try to find why you are in such situation. And I can guarantee you that it is always because of a choice you made. And all it takes is introspection, to go within, to identify it, to learn from it, and then take the appropriate action to turn your situation and make it better.